Welcome to the Life and Leadership Podcast, where we discuss business, leadership, and friendship. I'm Zach Gable.
And I'm Jared Toach. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey everyone, welcome to our podcast, Life and Leadership Podcast with Jared Toach and myself, Zach
Gable.
And we're glad to have you with us.
Absolutely.
Well, welcome back to the podcast, and we are going to be kind of breaking down a little bit of Shawn's presentation from the
Shawn Collins.
Shawn Collins from the Strengthen Southern Indiana Conference. And so anyway, we have some clips. We actually have video clips of Shawn, thanks to his photographer that he hired.
Yeah.
And I would shout out who that was, but I cannot remember his name. So anyway,
shout out to whoever.
Shout out to Shawn's
you see
cameraman. You did a great job. However, we did have technical difficulties. We had a microphone on him as well. And at the end of the recording, I accidentally hit back. And I lost everything on my phone. So we lost.
Oh no!
Yeah, we lost.
You lost all the entire
everything.
conference?
Everything. Well, no, everything from Shawn's recording.
Gotcha.
And so anyway,
but we have some.
Yes, thankfully he had hired a photographer, videographer, and we have some clips to show you and to break down. So anyway, we're going to dive into that and kind of break down some of the things that he alluded to. And it's difficult in a setting like that to really dive deep into certain subjects. And especially when you're in a setting as that conference,
and you've got to
touch on you have to touch on so many topics. So here is the first one. We ready?
We're ready.
Let's do it.
And then your retention rate creates a reputation, and that reputation drives either the yes or no. So culture predicts all of this. I believe, once again, that people are your product, and if they are energized, they love your mission, they love your vision, they love your core values, they personally align around what it is, and they have the authority and responsibility to do their job, they are bringing more customers to you. They are bringing more employees to you. They are actively recruiting. It's the afterglow of being treated like a human being, being respected, having high standards that we have to meet, but aligning that around our people.
People are your product.
Yeah. This one I think stuck out to both of us quite a bit, and it is very intriguing and very interesting, and something that I've seen personally in our business. That when you treat people in our family business, we treat people like family. We treat our and that's our saying around there is that we're all family. And so when you treat people like family, they act like family. And when
good or bad.
Yeah. Well, good.
Well, I mean, but the truth of the matter is, like, family isn't perfect.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and I don't want to go down too many rabbit trails already, but to that point, to your point there, that it can be good or bad.
It's not necessarily bad. I wouldn't say bad is probably the wrong word.
Well, but
use,
no,
but it can be hard. It can be tough.
It can be, and I would say, yeah, maybe bad's not the right word, but if you can't be afraid of confrontation.
Yeah, family's not afraid of confrontation. That's why I say it can be challenging.
Yes,
challenging because bad often times has a negative connotation of like, oh, we want to stay away from bad, but it's challenging. Yeah, challenging, and it is very good to have confrontation. It's very good to have healthy and respectful confrontation. The ways of I actually just talked with someone about this today. The ways of as the owner, my way or the highway are long gone.
Yeah.
And we discussed this.
Well, they're not long gone, and
they should be long gone.
Yes, I was going to say they're not long gone in our
we discussed
society,
this in our last podcast that yes, as the owner, the buck stops here, and everything. But I'm not stupid enough to think that I have all the answers and that I know exactly everything that needs to happen. And so the ways of a family are you discuss, you have arguments. Again, using an argument, that's not, there's a difference between screaming and yelling. That's not an argument. That's being disrespectful. That's, but a true argument is having a discussion where there's two different sides, two different point of views, and you're discussing it and trying to come to a resolution. That is very healthy and very much needed in an organization. And so treating people with respect and having that family atmosphere allows us to grow as a business, allows us to grow as a team, and allows us to grow as a family, that unit that we are. So
absolutely.
Yes, he did talk about many things here, and a couple of the things he said was core values. People are your product when they're bought into your core values. When you have core values, when you know who you are and how you make these decisions, and I'm sure I've said this on the podcast before. I've said it many times, but every large decision we make, every personnel decision, every if there's a customer dispute, every decision that we make, we use our core values as bumpers, as guides to make those decisions. And so we know it's not just this is who we think we are. No, we have it written down. We have it. We talk about it every single team meeting, and we know who we are, and this is how we make our decisions. If you don't have that, you can't buy into something you don't have. And so your team, if you don't have core values, your team doesn't know what they're buying into. They don't know what this business is as at the core.
Yeah. And would you say that, and I want to get back to some of what Shawn said, but I think this is so true. This goes to the people of your product, and that's where your investment goes, right? And we'll dig into that a little bit here in just a second, because that is where you should be investing your time, because that's going to make or break your organization or company. Would you say that along with your core values that are kind of external or forward-facing core values that you have for your customers, that you also have an internal set of core values of how we run and operate as an organization?
So you're saying like internal, that's not necessarily shared with the public. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. It's not necessarily like you have these values, like we give great customer service, all that, but great customer service isn't necessarily, what does that look like internally? You know what I'm saying? So so obviously that's not an internal.
Yeah. Well, I'll just be honest. We don't, because we're not afraid to share our core values. I think some businesses do and organizations do.
So I guess maybe I misspoke about so it's not that you're trying to keep those core values, but you have your functioning, how we operate as a team. So here's our core values for a company, and this is what we believe in. We believe in transparency. We believe in blah, 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 like all these other things. And yes, that's internally as well. But then also as a team that we function as a family. We function with, I don't know.
I kind of see what you're saying. Yeah. Ours intertwine. It's our first core value, the one that we was respect. And respect is internal, it's external, and so we have our core value of respect, and then
what it looks like for the customer, and then what it looks like.
And then below that we respect each individual, our coworkers, our families, our company, our customers, anyone we can interact with in the community.
So then that translates internally as well.
Yeah. So our core values are obviously internal and external. Having heart to serve, that's internal, that's external.
Yes. Yep.
Integrity, that's internal, external. It's so we have 6 core values. Every single one of them is internal and external. And even so, one of our core values is
people's mission versus their
One of our core values is unity. That's probably the only one that is mostly internal, but it does affect, obviously.
It plays a role. That's kind of what I was getting at. So unity is more of an internal core value than it is external, because what does that look like for your customer? Well, if unity is more in the inside world.
That's probably the only one. That's definitely the only one that is more internal than external. But it definitely plays a role in how we serve. If we're not on the same page, we're not, so anyway, yes, I see what you're saying there now. Sorry. Took me a little bit. Took me a little bit to catch on to the train I was going around.
I'm sometimes difficult to follow. Sometimes I'm a high-speed train.
But again, if your people, your team buy into, if they have something to catch on to, first off, you have to have that. If they don't have something to catch on to, that this is what we do, and this is I presented, I spoke last week. 2 weeks, no, last week. Anyway,
last week.
Was that last week? Oh my word! In front of a group of people, and then shared on a different podcast today with someone, and both times it came up. This is where I found myself 4 years ago, was no vision, no core values, no written down core values. I knew what we wanted to be, and I knew how but we didn't have anything written down. We didn't have a vision statement. We didn't have a mission statement. We didn't have written core values. And I found myself in this rut, and listening to this podcast of Dave Ramsey saying, as the leader of the business, you're the bottleneck. And if you don't grow the business, your team's not going to grow. And so anyway, that's what led me to start digging into all of this and trying to figure out how I can become a better leader. And so I started stretching myself, and I don't want to go through all of this again, but, started digging into leadership podcasts, books, and stretching myself, going to business networking events because I don't like that stuff. I even told on the podcast today, I told Wes, I said, I honestly do not like public speaking, but yet here I am, because even now, even though we have a great team and I feel like my leadership has come a long way, I still have to grow as a leader, and I still have to stretch myself. And so, I don't want to ever feel like I've made it there. I want to continue to grow, as I think all leaders should feel. And so anyway, 4 years ago, there was nothing for our team to grab onto and to catch a vision, and we were just there. We were good at what we did, but there was nothing for a team to really catch whereas now we have the core values, we have the mission statement, we have vision meetings, and we have all these things where they can buy into it, and they can see the future and see,
And I think you bring up a good point that he brought up as well, is that it's something that people can catch on to, people can hold on to, people can identify with, people can connect with. Because in a world, in a market, in a job market where you have immense turnover, you have people hopping jobs here and there, everywhere else, going for pay, going for this, going for that. You want to get you're going to hire some people that are going to move on, and maybe they're not 100% vested in your company, but you want to hire those people and those individuals who strongly align with your organization. And if you are not using that as a form of review when you are interviewing, if you're not using that as a strategy for hiring, I firmly believe you're going to see a lot more turnover in your organization, because you get there, and if your values and your things are not aligned with what they are, your ambitions, their mission, their drive, if the drives don't align, what drives your organization part of that should also be what drives that individual's passion, right? Whatever it might be, right? But they should be able to connect with that. And so once you have those key components in place of that, what is the thing that drives your organization, your company, then you begin hiring, and then you begin reinvesting in your people. Like you begin to fuel that fire, you begin to fuel that energy, you begin to fuel that connection, you begin to fuel and strengthen that bond that they have with the core of the company. And that's where you then, and then you get into, not meaning to just like keep going, but, and then you begin to empower them, right? Because then people feel really empowered. They feel really connected. They feel well equipped with information and knowledge. And then just as Shawn was saying, they're your best marketing tool.
Yes. Yeah.
Like they're going to be the ones that are out on the street screaming from the rooftop, like, you got to check out the products that either this company offers or the services this company offers, or I get to work for an amazing company, right? They're going to be your best marketer because it's authentic.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah.
They're connected and they're passionate about it.
Exactly.
It's kind of like for another analogy or strategy, but people who are whatever your religious organization's affiliation might be, but like if you are excited about the church that you go to, or you're excited about like whatever organization you're attached to, like you tell other people about it, right? It means a lot to you.
Yeah.
And so then you like get other people excited about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I went off on a tangent.
No, I think to add to what you're saying, it becomes easier when your team gets a hold of the vision, and whenever they have something to grab onto and to hold on to, it makes it much easier because it's no longer just your vision, but it's your team's vision. It's no longer just your core values, it's the team's core values. And as he said, and as you've already stated, they become your team becomes your product, and they become your recruiting tool, you know.
Yeah.
And no longer do you have to try to reach in every I'm going to use terminology that I don't even know what it is, but it's what Grandma always said, in every nook and cranny, and you're trying to get applicants from here and here, and you just can't get the applicants to come in. But then once you build this culture where people want to come to work and people enjoy coming to work, and I don't have to qualify everything, but you have bad days. You have, there are
days
still,
nobody wants. Not
but
nobody,
but it can be, and this is something that again I talked about last week at U of E, is if you can create a fun atmosphere, an atmosphere where there's joy in the workplace, you're going to have bad days, but if you can create a culture where it's fun and it's kind of a relief for people. As I was talking to these leaders, I told them, I said, you never know what is going on in a person's personal life. You never know what they're going through. It could be health issues, could be family issues, could be, a dog or a cat that's, that's still family issues. Sorry, dog and cat lovers. I'm not saying they're not family. But
they are family. Fisher friends.
There could be so much going on, and to create an atmosphere and a culture in a workplace where they can come and just find a family that cares about them and that's relieved to be at work. It gives them this feeling of buy-in.
Yeah, and I think the other important key that Shawn indicated there too, that said, and there's a system of accountability in place. So it's not just that this is a free for all, like I'm so empowered. It's all just this like big old love fest thing going on. You know what I'm saying? Like it's this happy go lucky where we all love coming into work every day and everything's just sunshine and roses, right? That's not reality. That's not life. There's still accountability in place, right? But that accountability is a safeguard. And you begin to rely on that for like, we all get off our game. We all get a little wonky, for lack of a better term. We all, you know what I'm saying? We all have those moments when we need to. I just said this to my boss last week. I was saying how there are times in everybody's, whether it's every couple months, every couple weeks, hopefully it's not every week, but you just need kind of that realigning. And I told her I appreciate it, like, for me, like when there's just that kind of real quick realignment, like, hey, like I know, like you seem to be going down this path, but just as a reminder, like here's some of the parameters that we're still working in. Like we still have a structure, we still have a framework, we still have And that's still needed.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And no matter where you are, what position you're in, that's needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the other thing that I pulled out that I really like that he said is people have the authority, and are basically
and authority and responsibility
to do their
authority
job. And responsibility to do their job.
Yeah.
But so they're basically empowered.
Yeah.
Like if I could sum up those words, you're empowered.
Yes.
You're empowered
And trusted. You're trusted to do. And I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
That's where our leadership team, where we go whenever we're hiring. We do not hire people that we don't trust to do their job. Because as you said, when the rubber meets the road, there is a job that has to be done. Yes, we try to make it as fun as possible, and we try to make it joy in the workplace. But at the end of the day, there's still a job that needs to be done. And so but we do not micromanage at all. We train and we empower, and so then we have to have a tremendous amount of trust. And in your industry, especially remote work. I don't. Yeah. Anyway, I won't even get on that. I don't know that I could. I like in person.
It is hard, but I do think there's this idea of empowering people to do their work, and then trusting them to do their work. So if you give me a task to do, like I trust you to execute that task and to perform it until you show me otherwise, right? And then, there might need to be modifications or something. But if I feel empowered to do my job, to feel empowered to come up with solutions, to be creative, to share ideas, like once again, that just fosters and fuels the energy to be part of that organization, right? Because I haven't looked up research or any studies or anything like that. I'm sure they're out there, but people who feel empowered and who not just feel it, but are empowered at organizations, I would say that they're probably more job satisfaction because you have
I would agree with
basically like a creative outlet.
Yeah.
When you have a chance to dream up and to think up, I just presented, I think I shared it with you, just like this new, I don't want to say it was a project, but it was a new way of rethinking some of our systems work. And it works for me. It doesn't necessarily work for everybody on our our leadership team or whatever, but they don't need it. And but they're like, if that works for you, Jeff, if that's how you need to track everything, if that's how you need to keep up with everything, go for it.
Yeah.
Be creative and create a system that works for you. That's empowering.
Yeah.
Because then you have an outlet, and it wasn't no, this is what you need.
This is our standard. This is our protocol.
This is our protocol. No, you literally have, and no, I'm not going rogue, and nobody's going rogue and doing something out. But so I don't know if we want to dissect this anymore or go to the next one.
One last thing that he mentioned was when your people are being treated like human.
Yeah.
And that's so, and I know we've kind of touched on it in areas here already, but it's so important to be intentional as a leader, to be intentional and be respectful. And as I said, in our business, to treat others like family. And when you treat someone with respect, and when you treat someone like family, they're going to buy in because they're becoming part of your family.
Your work culture, work family. Yeah.
So, being intentional about that, and then, about the respect part, and then again, being intentional about having fun in the workplace.
Yeah.
I am a fun person anyway, or at least I think I am. I enjoy having fun.
You are a fun person.
And so I generally hit that hard a lot with other leaders.
Which is good.
Yeah, because it's again, you're going to have bad days. And you don't want to have a bad day and a boring place to go. You want to have a bad day and fun, So anyway, it's one of those things I love when I hear, if I'm not a part of it, unfortunately, I love hearing the nonsense going on. It just makes my soul happy.
laughter in the workplace is awesome to hear.
It is.
You know, just seeing smiles on people's faces. Like I said, it's not always sunshine and rainbows and lollipops and all that kind of stuff, right? But laughter in the workplace is great. And being able to enjoy your work, it's a sense of relief and stress relief. Like if you can laugh and joke with somebody around you. So like curating, it's you are curating the environments.
Intentionally.
Yeah. You are intentionally curating your environment. And so like, I would say for anybody listening, I would challenge you or challenge yourself and ask yourself, how am I curating my workplace? How am I curating the environment that I work in, where I'm the leader at, whatever role I might have in that place, to make it a place that is joyful, to make it a place that feels like a family, to make it a place that feels connected, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm the leader of the organization and I have not created those values and set forth those parameters, and we haven't created a mission and we haven't created those things, and I haven't presented that and laid that forward when I'm in my hiring, then I have some work to do, right? Because part of that curation is making sure everybody at your workplace aligns with those values. Otherwise, you're going to be in constant conflict.
Yeah.
But I think the human, back to what you were saying about treating people with, just treating them like a human being, like with respect. And I unfortunately, in our world today, I feel like phones and screens and media and social media has taken the place of human interaction.
Yeah.
You walk around in airports. Sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent here. We can go on.
That's all right.
But you walk around in airports and you listen and you look around and people are staring at their screens. People are talking on their phones. They're not, there's like this human element. It's like we forgot about the people around us. So you cannot tell me that when you get into the workplace that does not, because you form habits.
Yeah.
Like habits are formed by repetitive things over time. Well, if you are repetitively on your phone or on your device or whatever, like disengaged from those around you, then when you're in the workplace, the same thing is going to be true.
And more importantly, when you're at home, the same thing's
yeah.
going to be true. We won't touch on that, but that's
We're not
something
here
that
to fix homes.
Yeah, but that is something that
fix anybody.
I've noticed. I've noticed that after coming home from work and still catch up on emails on my phone or something, or even just shopping on Marketplace or something.
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon. I've noticed that where I have to be, again, using the word intentional, I have to be intentional in setting that aside.
Yeah. So you can
concentrate on my
people
family.
that matter most.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, let's do the next one.
Let's go for it.
Leadership isn't about positional power. It's about your leadership influence, and it starts with knowing how you impact the room. You are a leader in this room that works for a company, that leads a family, that leads a community. Period. Stop thinking you're not. When change comes, is it being done to you? Or are you actively taking authority and responsibility to do it? And when you start to do that, and it's not about, I have my 20-year badge or whatever it is, and you start picking up the slack and helping, and you're in and you're out, and people know that you're for them, they'll go the extra mile. Because you have influence, because they know you're not just doing it to them, you're doing it with them.
Yeah, so I think one of the key pieces that he started off was this position doesn't necessarily equal power, like your position, like where you lead from the seat that you're in at your organization. And you should feel empowered, back to our previous conversation, to do that. But you also know that you are part of that. Like you lead. It doesn't matter if you are the janitor, the maintenance guy, the mechanic, the classroom educator, the assistant classroom educator, the assistant director, the administrator, like whatever position you're at, like position does not equal power.
Yeah.
Right. This isn't about it shouldn't, like there should be within your organization, like you have that space and you should have that autonomy. And then when things come, like you do ask yourself and he talks about this, and Shawn was talking about this in his conversation, when change happens, is it happening at me or is it happening with me? Mm-hmm. Right. And that's a huge piece, because if it's happening at you, then you are not seen as being a leader, mm-hmm. right? You're not seen as having any type of position, any type of authority. Once again, back to that previous conversation, like being empowered, you're not seen as those things if it's happening at you or if it's happening with you. Because if it's happening with you, use your voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk. Speak. It doesn't mean that we always, just like you were talking about it in a family, it doesn't mean we always get our way. We always don't get to choose the vacation that we want. Maybe the family might overrule us. I might want to go to Michigan and everybody else might want to go to Florida.
You're speaking my language right now. But Take me to where it's cool. I don't want to go to a hot place.
Yeah, no Florida in the summertime. But yeah, like we don't always get, but I should have a voice. I should have an opinion. And so like within your organization, like once again, asking ourselves, does position in our organization equal power? Like, mm-hmm. does it? Mm-hmm. Because if it does, then something's off. Yes, absolutely. There's a leader.
Yeah.
If you have a leader, there is a structure to an organization.
But it shouldn't. I think if I'm catching on what you're saying here, there should be equal amount of voice no matter where you are. You should be able to,
no matter where your seat is at the table.
Yeah.
You should have that opportunity. Doesn't mean, and once again, like I said, doesn't mean that it's the ultimate say. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean, but I should feel like I have that. And I think people taking that into consideration when you're at your workplace and knowing that whatever I do makes a difference. Mm-hmm. Whether I work for a small organization, but every choice that I make when I walk through those doors is something that is positional. Like it's leadership. Mm-hmm. I'm leading from my position, whatever it is in the organization. How I choose to show up in the morning is a form of leading. Mm-hmm. Because I read a thing. Well, actually I heard John Maxwell. I'm listening to another one of his books just because
I just started another one as well.
Did you?
I did, yeah.
But anyways, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry. Well, since you're already off your train of thought, I also just started a book. I think it's new, but are you familiar with Dr. Henry Cloud? Mm-hmm. So he wrote the book Boundaries.
Yes.
Well, I think it's new. Hopefully
Wasn't there somebody else that wrote a book, Boundaries?
I don't know. But anyway, there's a new one, Dr. Henry Cloud. It is Boundaries for Leaders. And I just started that one as well.
Nice.
So
nice.
I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, we're way down the rabbit holes.
Yeah. Now. So you are a leader if people will. So John Maxwell was talking about this. It is very interesting. You can have 1,000 influencers, and I agree 100%. Or you can have 1,000 followers, 1 million followers on Facebook, Instagram, all that. That does not make you a leader.
Yeah.
Just because somebody gives you a thumbs up on Instagram, just because your podcast has 1.5 bazillion likes or 1.5 bazillion follows, does not make you a leader.
Yeah.
Right? You are a leader when people actually follow, like truly follow and believe in what you're doing. And the other thing that John Maxwell talked about was that people don't follow people who don't know as much as them, or who are not as, if I'm wanting to learn and grow in my leadership, I'm looking to the John Maxwells. I'm looking to all these other individuals who write
who have experience and who have the knowledge.
Yeah. I'm looking to those. So like if I say my leadership's on a level 8, and John Maxwell uses this, if my leadership's on a level 8, I'm falling to level 10. Mm-hmm. And the same thing is true about wherever you are at your place of work. If you're on a level 5, like you've got some people who are level 4s or 3s following you.
Yeah.
And then you are following a level 8 or a level 9, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it goes, so like you do follow So it doesn't matter your position within the organization. Like, you can be a leader,
Yeah.
but you have to lead.
Yeah.
You have to choose to lead from whatever position you're in. And then you have to be empowered to lead.
Yeah. That's true. That's
Yep.
good. As you were talking, a memory popped up. So we had a decision to make, a hiring decision to make here.
I love hiring decisions.
I'm not going to give a timeline that way. Anyway, in the past, we had a hiring decision that we had to make.
In the past 10 years.
In the past 25 years.
Yeah. You've been in existence 25 years.
And so, anyway, I thought that we had two really good applicants, and I thought one was a better choice. I thought they were both going to be good choices, both going to be wins, but we only had the ability to hire one at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought one was going to be a better choice, but I didn't vocalize that. I asked the rest of the leadership team and those that were going to be affected by the hire.
I brought this up last time.
Did I?
Mm-hmm. That's okay. It's
Sorry,
applicable
people.
to this time.
And so anyway, I asked them, and the majority wanted the other one, and so that's the route we went. And it's been a very, very good, a very good hire. And so anyway, as you were saying, you can lead. That wasn't just the leadership team. Obviously, that wasn't just me. That was we brought several people in that were going to be affected by it, and thankfully, we made a decision that worked out very well. So anyway, just to point out exactly what you were saying, that it doesn't matter. Everyone should have an equal voice in that.
Yeah.
And so as a leader,
everyone has a voice in that.
Yes.
It may be ultimately you are the ultimate say. Like you could have overrode that, right?
I could have.
Because you could have seen something else and you could have brought that to the table and said, well, guess what? I have a little inside information regarding background that's going to knock this candidate out.
In this situation where all of the, all of the cards were on the table, we all had the same knowledge. We all had the same, everyone at that point, in my opinion, everyone had an equal voice at that, because we were all informed the same. And so anyway, that's a, just an example there of how it should be. You should be able to lead from wherever you are, and you should have a voice.
Yeah, you should have a voice
in that.
And it's important that you, I think, as a leader, I think we've talked about this in other podcasts, that you surround yourself with people that have strengths that are not your own, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is oftentimes found in people that may not have a title of owner.
Yeah.
They may not have the title of manager, assistant director, principal, right? But you have key people that in strategic positions around, within your organization that they have a good head on their shoulders when it comes to, and then you can fill in the blanks.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I can go to this person because they have a strong sense of understanding about this topic, this topic, about whether it's hiring. I have a whole team of people around me that, when I don't know, I trust that they can figure it out. When I don't know, when I might have a hard time picking between the two people, well, I've hired a team of people that can cut through the emotional part of it, and they can say cut and dry, here's the choice.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important, just once again, to empower, but also to understand that you do lead from whatever seat you're in.
Yeah. Well, and just as you said, it's everyone has a different perspective. And we actually, one of our first podcasts was on perspectives. Do you remember
I remember that? Yeah.
And so everything that has happened to each individual up to that point creates this perspective on, and so there were, from my perspective, there were reasons why I thought the other person was a better hire.
Mm-hmm.
And from most of everyone else's perspectives, it was, and so it's good to have all of that, to have all those different perspectives in there, in the different voices, and to be able to make decisions like that.
Yeah.
So.
And I think it's important. I think it's important to understand if you are that person in whatever role it is, that you might not be in the quote unquote leadership seat. But I think it is important that you recognize and acknowledge the fact that you are a leader and that your voice is important and that you should speak up.
Should, yes.
And if you aren't in an organization or company that allows for that, then you might check for another one. Yep. You might start putting your resumes in for other
We're sponsored by Indeed on this. No, just kidding.
Yeah, we're sponsoring. Thank you, Indeed, for sponsoring us today. Just kidding. They did not sponsor us. They can sponsor us, but no, that's important because that would be a check that I would ask if I were out seeking a job. How much do you like your employees to have a voice?
Yeah.
What does that look? And then what does that look like? Because
exactly.
Everybody can say, "Oh, our employees have a voice." Like, absolutely want to hear your feedback.
Comment card section where they put that in.
Bingo.
Put them in the fire.
Many in education we would run into this? I've ran into this multiple times in education, where that's exactly it. Parents' voice is a comment card section or a brief survey or something like that. That's not a voice.
No, it's not.
That's not a voice, because what happens to those information? Where's the dialogue? Where's the discussion? Where's the action? How do I know that's going to be followed up on? Like, that's not a voice. That's a way to say we do something. A survey is a great way to say we do something, that we get parent feedback, right? It's a great way to say it, but is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and here's just a little bit of helpful information for anyone that still thinks that my way or the highway is the way to go. So, and I was thinking about this as we were talking. If I was as the owner, my wife and I own the business as the owners, if we were the only ones that were to make decisions, and if we made a hiring decision and it went well, then it's fine. Everything's fine. Everybody's hunky-dory. If it goes bad, then all the weight's on us. And
he do be fighting all the time.
Well, that, and so like it gives your team buy-in.
Yeah.
So just sticking with hiring and firing here, or just hiring here. So again, going back to this hire, if no one else was on board with who we hired and it went south, then it's going to cause division. It's going to cause, issues. Yep. Whereas now everyone had a voice. We made a decision together, and we made the hire. If it goes south, hey, we all learned a lesson, and we all had a say in it. And it was, but if it's one person, or if it's not a mixture of voices and perspectives, then it causes this division among your team. That should not.
I'm not an engineer or anything like that, so maybe I should avoid this analogy. But I'm going to take a stab at it anyways. But you've been up into the One World Trade Center. Mm-hmm. You've been into the museums. You've been into all the things. If you think about a building like that, the weight is distributed across. Like, not one beam, not one pole, not one wall carries the weight of everything. Yeah. If it did, it would not stand.
No.
It's not going to stand.
Yeah.
And any structure, like your home, your house, that's why you think about, like, if this was a support wall behind us, just taking out this one would mess up your entire facility here. Yeah. Right? Just one wall out, because the weight is distributed evenly. Yeah. When you distribute the weight of an organization, right? Because whether you think it that way or not, it is a weight in some ways. A metaphor, it's not a literal, a physical, but it is. It's a
emotional and everything.
Yeah. And when you take that on as a team, once again, it's that buy-in, back to our first conversation. It's that buy-in, and you think about that. I don't have to, if I have to hold the knowledge for the entire team, if I have to run the entire team. Those are usually the people that are stressed out the most.
Yeah.
The control freaks and those people who think that they have all the answers and that they need to be in control and be in charge and it's my way or the highway. Those are the people that are stressed to the max.
Yep.
Those are the people that are like, I'm stressed.
And they're the ones that scream and yell at the drop of a hat because they all that stress on them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because but if you have your entire team is pulling all of the weight, think about that.
Yeah.
Like, yes, the buck still stops with you.
Yeah.
You still are in charge of the organization and you have to lead and guide the organization and you have to cheer on and you have to do all these things to get the organization going. But then people can compensate. And so when you have a team member who has a struggle or something else going on with their family or their personal life or that, you have other people who can step in and will willingly compensate for them. Right. And so then the weight is still distributed. Yeah, I might be taking on a little bit more, but there's a group of us taking on more of it.
Exactly.
So it's not like this person falls off here. This is what happens with understaffed organizations. This is what happens with, people who micromanage or people who it's my way or the highway.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You have one person go out and then what happens? Yeah. So, all right. We had a lot of good conversations.
Yeah, we did. Thank you, Shawn.
Yes. Thank you, Shawn. You gave us, we did 2 clips and we had a whole podcast.
So, and thank you, Shawn's videographer. We appreciate that. Save us.
Yes.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, all of that good stuff. It's all great for us, and we appreciate it. And you can email us info@landlpodcast.com. And very, very soon, we will have a website up.
It's exciting.
Very exciting. So keep an eye out for that. But thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one.
All right. Have a good one.